Hi and welcome back to the Oracle Jet tutorial series. In this last video we will learn how to create an optimized build of our application and publish it to a production to a production server, so it is publicly available on the internet. So here we have our application, the one we built throughout this tutorial. You already know that it has a pie chart to view information about a dataset of sports related products. We can view the details of this product filtered by the sport they related to. It has responsive design integrated into it. It all the components follow the Redwood design system, and it's built in its entirety by um, Oracle Jet UI components. Um, but the only way that we can access our applications is by uh, downloading the source code and running a web development server. But you would most probably like your application to be publicly available in the internet because it is a web application. So to to deploy our application, the first thing we need to do is to create an optimized build of our application. So by running the npx ojet serve command, what we're doing is creating a development build of our application and outputting it to the web folder. So if we access the web folder, we can see that all the source code of our application is right here. All the things that the browser needs to execute our web application are here, but we also have some extra files like this tsx file, the declaration types file, and other files like this app.js map, which they are not really necessary for the browser to run our application, but they are useful for us to debug our application while we are developing it. But this is not necessary in a release build of our application. So how do we create an optimized build of our application? For that we can also use the Oracle Jet CLI. So instead of running a development server, we can tell the Oracle Jet CLI to create a build, and we can tell it to create this build uh, using the release mode, which performs the required optimization, and it only includes the necessary files for our application to be executed by the browser. So when we access the web folder again, we will notice that the contents of the folder have changed. We do not longer have as many files as we had before. Now we only have the necessary files to execute our application. And, and this is what we would need to deploy our application. So how can we deploy our application? Since Oracle Jet is a single page app development framework, we can use any of the tools available for deploying single page apps. There are lots of tools to deploy single page apps quick and easy. If you are a web developer, you probably know a couple of them, but one of my favorites is called Netlify because it's one of the simplest to use. You just need to log in into your Netlify account, and when you log in, you also need to link your account to your GitHub profile because it will grab the source code from your GitHub profile. So you also need to publish your code to a GitHub repository. But once you have your account linked to your GitHub profile and the project published in your GitHub, You can go to Netlify's homepage and click this Add New Site button and select the Import an Existing Project option. And then you will select from which remote repository you want to import this project. In this case, it will be GitHub. And you will select the repository you want to deploy. In our case, it is the Share Tutorial app. And the only things you need to tell Netlify to deploy your project are in which branch the code of the application you want to deploy is located. In our case, or in my case, is the main branch. Then the base directory, in case the application source code is not located in the base directory of your repository, you will need to specify in which directory is it located, but in our case it's the same as the base directory of the repository, so we do not need to include anything here. Then the important part is here, in which we need to specify the build command, which is the command that it will run to create an optimized build of our application. And as we have already discussed, the command for creating an optimized build of our application is npx objet build with the release flag. Release. And the published directory is where you can Netlify find the optimized build of your application once the build process is finished, which in our case is the web folder. This is where our build will live in. So once we specify these two parameters, we can click this deploy Jet tutorial to deploy our application. We could also add environment variables if we need to, but in our case, our project is not using any environment variables. But if you want to add some, you can click that button too. And now we just have to wait for our project to be published. Once the build process is done, it will generate a random but permanent URL for our application under the .netlify.com domain. So once your application is deployed, it would be publicly available and you can share it with anyone you want. So you can also check the build process as you wait for it. It says that right now the build process is waiting for other process to be finished. That's because I have another app being deployed at the moment, but I don't want to actually deploy this app, so I'm just gonna cancel the deploy of this one. You can ignore this step. This won't happen to you unless you also have another app being built at the same time, but yeah. Now it is building. So if you check this log, you can see that it will run the npm install command, it will run the npx objet build command, and once the web folder is generated, it will publish our application under a random domain, which is here. Thunderous Chevakias DEC, I mean a random name under the Netlify domain. And here we have our application, which is now publicly available and it's already deployed on the internet. So this is the final part of this tutorial. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you, and I also hope that you can use Oracle Jet in the future to build any single page app web development project. And if you are working with Oracle services and tools and you want to create a single page application to access these tools, I would recommend you to use Oracle Jet. And also, if you just want to build an application but without the overhead of building all your components from scratch, Oracle Jet is a great alternative for you. So I don't have anything else to say more than thank you and see you in the next one. Bye. Bye bye.